In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Oka Cast. It's a conversation show where two dumb fucks talk about whatever's on their minds. I'm your dumb fuck and your best friend, Alan.
And I'm your other dumb fuck and your other best friend, Thinh.
We're back, Thinh.
Hello. Yes, we are. Wow. We did it. There's sirens going off in the distance in my house right now. Yeah. We're back. It's been a while since our last one too, right? Has it been 2 weeks? I feel like it's been longer.
I think it's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How have you been, Thinh?
Me, I don't know. I feel like I'm degrading in some way.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like I'm withering. I feel like I'm not being 100%.
I thought you were thriving during the quarantine.
Yeah, in the beginning it was, but now it's weighing down on me.
I feel the same way. Because, like, it's just very frustrating, very annoying not being able to do all the things you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm losing my social skills too. I don't know how to talk to people anymore. You
I thought you
know,
were socializing
usually
on via the internet, like Discord or whatever.
I was, but not even so much. I don't know. This is like via internet versus in person. I guess it's a whole different
Yeah.
thing.
There's like all the other things you have to
know.
consider, body language and stuff.
Yeah, and like I don't know. On a Discord, it's kind of like you can sit at your computer, you can just chill, and no one has to say anything, and you still be fine with that. You know, you guys can be in in your own channel, and like everyone's doing their own thing on the computer, but if they have something to say, they'll just say it, and like and maybe a discussion will follow. But like if when you're a person, especially with people, I guess you don't really hang out on a daily basis, even during these times.
The silence is like
Yeah,
hangs in the
it's
air,
like,
sort of.
yeah, it looms
You're
on
like,
you. Like, it puts this
Should I
like
say something?
yeah, exactly. It puts this like kind of like unintentional pressure on you, I
Mm.
guess. It didn't really come to apparent until we went to that picnic. I just felt like I don't know what was my mood that day, or I just felt like I couldn't really
What
talk.
happened was like awkwardness.
Probably, yeah.
Do you feel like it was because you just haven't seen people in a while, or there was people there you didn't know? What were the factors?
That is a lot of factors of everything, to be honest. First, I was like meeting new people, and then finding things to say, just bring up like trying to update what's been going on in everyone else's life,
Mhm.
but then I don't really have much to say what's going on in my
Right.
life too either. You know,
It's like, oh, so what's been new with you? And it's like, nothing. We've just been at home.
It's like can't really do anything. That I don't know. I just felt there's overwhelming guilt too about that picnic.
Like,
I just felt like
because we're not social distancing.
yeah, even though we've been doing it for so long, I feel like a lot of it has been more relaxed than was before in a way. But the thing was, like during that time, I just felt like shit. Should I even be here? like,
Is that because, especially for
Sure.
you, or do you think like in general, like, wow, we shouldn't be sitting like
this is more
here?
just for me,
Okay,
myself. Like, I don't like condemn those who do, but I was more so like guilt on myself. Like I was putting myself in this bad, like awkward mindset, kind of like guilt tripping myself.
because I don't think like what we did necessarily was that bad. We were like far apart, and we were like outside. It's just like maybe you were just thinking like, okay, I'm feeling guilty about doing this because of
Mm-hmm.
treating COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think I was getting paranoid of other people's opinions, like everyone else at the park.
Okay.
They're just like,
Right, like that one lady who
what the
walked
hell?
by and was like, she was
Oh,
being genuine or she was like being snarky. She said, good job social distancing. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, was she being a bitch or was she?
And that like that's the thing too, is like I didn't even hear that comment, to be honest. I didn't heard about it until later. Tiffany told me about it. I was like, oh, what? She said that? I didn't even realize. It was just, I don't know. There was a lot of guilt coming over me
Okay.
that day.
And then what about now? Do you feel like we should keep doing what we're doing, like keep social distancing, or do you feel like if you take the right precautions, you can still do what you want to do? Where are you at now?
I feel like if you take the right precautions, then you can do what you want to do. Like if you, as long as you can bring a mask or something, at least some kind of effort.
There's people who like refuse to wear masks for some reason, and that's like the bare minimum you can
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Just a mask would be
Like we're
good.
not even trying. Like we're not even telling you to like lock yourself in your home. I'm just like the bare minimum is
Uh-huh.
just wear a mask.
Yeah, but I think yeah, it's kind of funny too because I felt about like that way. I was feeling a lot of guilt that day during that time. But just last night, I just went over like I just got a group text from one of the nurses that I work with in the unit, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we're me and so like three other people in the unit we're planning a fire pit tonight. If you guys want to come over and just let blow off some steam or whatever." And I was like, okay, I don't feel as bad as anymore because some of my colleagues aren't really like we went over there and
Right.
it was just like a regular like, fire pit hanging out.
You felt a little like less
A little
guilty
less,
because it's like, oh, other people in the same situation as me
yeah.
are doing it.
My
Yeah.
colleagues, are doing it. My peers, my even people who are like older than me are like, or like okay with
Right.
it. So I feel even much like I kind of right now I'm like fuck it right now because of all the protesting that's
Hmm.
happening and all these people that are coming outside and
That
coming
is
together.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
that is that is
I think
peak.
right now
Like
it's all help peak
yeah,
infectious
I was like,
rate
oh
going
my
on.
god, full crowds, like super close proximity to each other.
Super close. Like even just like first responders, the police people too, against protesters, and like it's at this point I'm like fuck it. Like what's social distancing anymore? We got protesters happening now,
We threw that out the window.
like that exactly. We just like all of like 2 months of hard work just ended overnight. But like what's I mean, I understand the
Yeah,
reason behind all that, which is understandable. But like in hindsight, like
we're gonna be like,
now this
if there's gonna be a second wave, we'll be like, this is the moment where it all turned around. I think.
yeah. And like you have even like old elderly activists coming out too. All right, so I guess like I don't know, maybe now we're even so much more lax about this whole thing.
I think uh, you can still be as safe as possible while you're protesting. Like wear a mask and then bring an extra one. Like if you're out protesting, you're
Hmm.
gonna get like sweaty and breathing a lot. So it's good to have like one to switch out. Have a clean hand and a dirty hand. Basically, like clean hand for doing all this stuff on your phone to do like do whatever, and then one hand with a glove where you can hold your signs, touch other people, and then that's your dirty hand. And always stay hydrated. Everybody stay hydrated.
Definitely, hydration is key. Yeah, that's just the bare minimum. Just wear a mask.
I mean, yeah. Jeez.
And bring some hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts of it all right now. I mean, that's what's been going on my mind as of late.
Have you been hanging out with Tiffany more?
Probably just the same amount over the Memorial Day weekend. I stayed over there for like 3, 4 nights in a row, from Thursday to Monday night, and we cooked a lot. We cooked a lot of things.
Nice. I've been feeling like super jealous because like whenever I talk to people, other people who aren't in like the medical field and they don't treat any COVID patients, they're like, oh yeah, I just spent time with my significant other. We did this, we did this, we hung out inside, and I was like, just sitting there like, wish I could do all those things. I was so
You haven't been to Serena's?
no, because because I feel like we both take it very seriously about like social distancing and isolating and stuff. So when she takes care of COVID patients, even if she takes like all the precautions, and even if she's like super careful, like we just don't want to risk it at all. You know, like the responsible and smart thing to do is just to stay home. Like for me, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't interact with any body. I don't interact with any like patients who have COVID. So there's like 0% chance for me to get it. But then if I go to her who works with COVID patients, it just increases my chance of getting it and increases my chance of spreading it. You know,
That's the logic behind it. Yeah.
it is hard though because it's just like you see all these other people hanging out and you're like, just you know, 2 more weeks and then or like 1 more week, then I can see her. You know, it's just a constant like looking for the future,
It's
but
a
then
good,
it's also very hard.
especially with your significant other. It has to be that way, man. I mean, like it is very hard because it's just on your mind a lot, especially for like a new relationship
Exactly.
too.
Like we had just started dating and then boom, quarantine hit. So it was basically like one we got to spend like one real date together, and then it's just been quarantine inside, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. Like it's like a giant wet blanket just like got thrown on us at the very last second.
Mm. In hindsight, it might be actually. It's probably better that you done it before the quarantine hit it. Like you guys got like into a relationship
Yeah,
before,
exactly.
because let's say if you guys were still like in the talking phase or
And then I don't see
whatever.
her for 3 months. I was just like, all right,
Yeah,
peace out. All
exactly.
right.
It might not be there anymore. So in hindsight's a good thing. Before the pandemic, but it's rough, dude. And I feel like not hanging out with people for too long has made me feel like I've lost like social skills in a way.
I feel
I'm
like I've
just
like gotten a lot less like I feel like I was really close to a lot of people and we were like getting closer and then boom, we our relationship just like paused.
yeah,
Yeah.
stagnant. It's not
All these
really.
people I was like hanging out with.
It's not now. Like now that we all have to like get back in that catch up phase again. It's like, hey, what you been
Yeah.
doing? Like, how's it been? It's been like 3 months since I seen
I
you.
just wish
Two,
like
3 months.
it's possible to just skip that, you know? Like I don't want to catch up. I just want to go back to like what we were
Yeah,
doing right before.
I hate the catch up phase. If only way. I mean, alcohol helps a lot.
True. So
Mm.
even quarantining a lot. I mean, maybe just in general, like you've been spending a lot of time with Tiffany. Do you feel like quarantine is like practice mode for living together?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like if we were to live together, at least it's fun to cook. I know it's fun to cook together, and it's been much more. I don't know. I started thinking about it a little bit too because when I'm at her house, I don't really do much of like the dishes or anything or like because they're Tiffany's much more upfront about that, like cleaning dishes and like cleaning up the house, just tidying up some
Right.
places. But she knows her place better than I do. She knows where every little thing is, and I'm still still wondering like where do you keep this and that and
Yeah, like
that.
where do I put like where do all the dishes go? Where do certain plates go, certain cups and bowls?
Yeah, yeah, and like how they have a system
Yeah,
going
they
on in
have
their
their own
house kind
system.
of thing. Yeah, that's how you the best way to put it. They have their own system. I'm still like trying to get used to it. Even if, after 8 years, it's still not my house. So I don't know the system but I try to adjust to it the best I can. I try
Right.
and learn. But like when we have our own place, it's gonna be our system kind of thing. And like I can see like who she usually does the dishes at her place because since I'm like the guest at her house, even though I would offer to like wash it and stuff, and then it's like no, it's okay. I'll still let the do the dishes and everything. So I was wondering how would we divvy up chores and everything at if we were to live up, have a house together. Like, and will that ever like become a problem into our relationship where like, oh, I find out how much of a something that I didn't like about her when I was still with her. It's a wholly different thing. It's a whole different
Right.
atmosphere, I
Because
think, or
there's
the situation. Yeah.
there's so much more than you think, It's like, oh, you think like maybe there's going to be like a handful of chores. There's all these little things that you never really think about, right? Like
Hmm.
even just simple stuff you just don't even realize.
Yeah, but like it might be kind of. I'm excited at the same time. At the same time, I'm very scared because I'm excited to see the things that we can come up with together, like our own like routine system around the house, and like plan out like if this goes here, if making small like rules, like if you're gonna take a water bottle out of the
Put one
fridge,
back.
replace
Yeah,
one. Yeah, put one back, kind of thing. Like small rules like that,
that's
as
the rule
like
in my
as a
house.
way to yeah as a way to
Take a bottle, put a
help
bottle.
yeah. Sometimes I even put two bottles in after I take one out, just
Oh.
so if there's space, I'll put two in and I'll take one out. Um, but yeah, it just helps to ways to make them rules so that we don't have to find ways to not find ways, but do things that will what's it called frustrate each other or annoy each other a
I mean,
little
it's all
bit.
about compromise, right? Like you got to
Yeah,
find things that you got to meet in the middle. I feel like that's true about anything
that's
in
what
life.
it
You just
is.
gotta sometimes you gotta compromise a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's love, man. That's love.
It is. But yeah, it's like a that's what I'm looking forward to. But I feel like we'll have a time with it. We'll probably hit some snags across the road, but we'll figure it out. You
That's love
know?
too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is something I was thinking about the other day. Okay, so Tin, if you had to describe what love felt like or what love is to someone who had never felt it before, how would you
Hmm.
describe it?
It's kind of like putting yourself. I don't know. It's hard to even define it per se, but it's more of such a feeling that you get. It's like a feeling that it kind of makes you change your mindset, allowing you to think less selfishly about yourself and doing more for another person, out of like a genuine like out of from the genuinely the bottom of your heart kind of feeling.
I mean,
Like
I didn't mean to like put you on the spot. People have spent thousands of years like writing stories and songs and shit to try and capture that feeling. What is
mhm.
love? Just curious what you were thinking, like how you would describe it to someone.
I don't know. Yeah, everyone has their own definition
For
of it.
sure. And like, I feel like love is it's such a broad term. It could mean anything.
Is arbitrary the word? What does arbitrary
Like
mean?
kind of random for no reason. I threw trash on the ground, and you're like, why did you do that? And he's like, arbitrary. It was an arbitrary reason. There wasn't like no logic behind it, or like why did you choose
Like on a whim
like
kind
why
of
did you
thing.
choose that name for your dog? He's like, I don't know. It was arbitrary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean everyone has their own definition of love, but I don't. Well, I think once you know, kind of thing.
I think so.
It's
Love's not always like super crazy, like grand. It's not a huge thing. It's not always a huge thing. Sometimes it's
mm,
like you find like a really small kind of love, and then sometimes you find like something crazy, real, big.
mm.
It varies.
Do you think you felt love before? Like, do you think the way you feel love now has been different from when you thought you felt love, or you did love someone?
I mean, definitely not. I feel like it definitely changes person to person.
Mm.
Sometimes it's like instant and very, you just feel it in your gut, it's very instant. And sometimes it's like gradual. You like learn to love them. You find all these like small things that you're like, wow. you just like the way they do certain things. You like the way they say certain words, you know, and then it just like piles up.
Mm.
So no, I think it definitely changes. And then I understand more, like after each relationship I learn that what I'm what's the word? Like what I value more, you know, and what I
Mm-hmm.
like treasure more. And if someone has that, it makes me love them more.
Like the qualities of a person, what you see in a
Yeah.
partner, I guess. Hmm.
Exactly. Like what you want from someone changes every time you like date someone. Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want the exact same
Yeah,
thing. Because obviously you want something maybe more, maybe better, maybe different.
something that you're happy with.
Exactly.
When was the last time you saw Sabrina?
Uh, we've been going on hikes every now and then, like social distance hikes. But the last time I was like with her, like I got to hug her, was like 2 weeks ago, 2 full weeks ago.
Oof,
And then I'm not
it's a
going to
long
see her
time.
until later in the week.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like jealous of everyone because they got to. I see like everyone hanging out and like being with their SOs and talking about being with their SOs. I was like, must be nice. Must be
Oof, that's hard to hear too. Like, why can't I have this?
exactly.
Why is everyone else doing this? I can't have this.
Why are we the ones who are being so responsible and like? Why are we carrying this on our backs? You know?
Right. It's it's crazy. It was funny when I was at work. One of the nurses was like talking to another nurse, and like she like we're just joking around, and then they get like one nurse gave the other hug and give the other nurse a hug. He was like, "Are you sure you want to hug me? I like had all like COVID patient. I had a COVID patient last night." She was like, "Girl, we've been bathing with COVID patients for since the last 2 months and all this started. I've been, I've been having it covered it so long. Just give me a hug."
Like the other day at the picnic, he just like he was like, "Hey, come here, give me a hug," and I just didn't even think about it. I just went in for the hug, a quick one, and then as
Yeah.
soon as we like let go, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. It's like, oh, damn
Like
it.
literally the second after, I was like, "Fuck!" But then it just like, oh my god, it was so nice to like hug someone.
Yeah.
I was like,
Exactly, dude.
"Ugh, like come here, bro."
That warmth, man. That warmth and love. You don't get that too much often these days.
Fuck.
We're deprived of it. And like, it's just funny because like, I feel like I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but like working in the unit for so long, you just feel like you succumb to the idea. It's like how
The idea of what?
that all the nurses already have like COVID already.
Uh,
Even like with proper like gowning and
Yeah.
doffing or whatever, it's just like be in that environment. You can have one little small slip up, and you just have to like think. This one little small slip up is all it takes. And for her to like to do like, oh yeah, just give me a hug. I've already bathed in this for the past 2 months. It's like if I don't even, like I already thought I had COVID a long time ago
Just like
already, but
resign to your fate, kind of like,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
all
Like
right,
it's
I
inevitable.
I give up.
Just take me, take
I think a lot of
me.
people are starting to feel that weariness. I
Yeah,
know I am. I'm like, oh my god.
it's just too much. it definitely is like way too long to wait for a vaccine before we can like effectively, you know, get to like patient whoever
Right.
who it doesn't have it, especially with the protests going on, which is nuts. It just happened overnight, you know, all the major cities in the U.S. protesting.
City Hall's on fire.
Yeah, the city was on fire, dude. And like when I see all the new like news right now, I just feel like holy shit, Hong Kong was going through this just about like 2 3 months ago. Now we're going through the own like not like the same situation, but more so the situation of like police versus the people kind of thing.
Right.
And like what we saw in the Hong Kong pictures is what's happening to us right now. People getting hit with rubber bullets, tear gas, like peaceful people protesting and people are starting looting. Except I think it's much more detrimental in Hong Kong than like actually I can't really compare. But for people's freedoms to be taken away, that's pretty fucking nuts. But also the treatment of black people in America is also pretty fucking nuts too. It's like a whole new level.
It's because it's
It's not saying
so
that, yeah,
insidious. It's just a part of our life. And like it definitely should not be. And people
yeah,
and we just like live with it. We just take it.
yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's so fucked up. I feel like, damn, it's just unsafe out there. But I feel guilty for not being out there at the same time a little bit. You know, just like fighting for people's rights.
I mean, there's other ways to help, donate,
Mm,
talk
it's
about
true.
it more. Talk to
Bring
your
awareness to it.
yeah, talk to your vote, vote different people in office.
Definitely. Which the primaries are the next on June 2nd, I think. Coming up in a couple days.
Trump's
I'm
trying to
definitely.
dissuade everyone from mail-in ballots.
Yeah. Did you hear about that? How
It's like,
Twitter's like fact checking him now, and he's like trying to persuade people like, oh, this voter fraud, do mail ballot. Don't use your mail ballots.
he just doesn't want
And
people to vote.
yeah, exactly. There's a whole thing about like Republicans trying to not trying to get people to vote because they know
Dude, that's been
the
a thing
part.
for like
Yeah,
like the last like 90 years in this country.
which is nuts. I just only found like recently learned about this like maybe several months ago. I'm like, it's all coming to fruition. It's all coming together.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
why
Like
like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's we just let it happen for 90 years and we finally like have something to
it's
say.
like the tipping scale. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. Trump is fucking crazy.
You know what's crazy is
We should
that
not.
that cop, I don't think he's gonna get prosecuted.
Really?
Yeah, he was charged with uh like manslaughter or something like that. But
Yeah.
apparently, like, there's not enough. There's like he didn't do. They basically have to prove that he did a crime with evidence, right? But the apparently there's like not enough evidence to charge him or like prosecute him with murder or something like that.
What evidence are they looking for? Then there's videos of
Or
him
like
doing it.
evidence as in like did he do anything that broke the law?
The cop?
Yeah. And there is.
Uh,
There's a video.
yeah, yeah. There's a video of it,
But I don't think he's
and
going to
I
get
don't.
prosecuted. I think
That was nuts. From what I understand, I don't think you're supposed to be using a knee to the neck to detain someone when he's already cuffed up. I feel like when someone's already cuffed up, they're like they have like almost no
I think
threat level to their I would say they're considered unarmed and detained, and they can't really do much damage if both his arms are cuffed up already. And for him to put a knee into his neck onto the ground, I don't I don't know. That's not good. That's much excessive force than needed to hold someone down, I would say.
Okay, so you're you're putting on your knee on someone's neck. Like that's fucked up already. But the fact that
Mm-hmm.
he left it there for like 9 minutes, 10 minutes, while the guy was like, "I can't breathe."
Scream. Yeah. Screaming.
Okay, at that point, it's like now you're willfully like trying to kill him. If you left it there for a minute, I would still be like, "That's fucked up." He couldn't breathe for a minute, but you choked that guy for 9 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It says, County Attorney Mike Freeman said, the video is graphic and horrific and terrible, and no person should do that. But my job in the end is to prove that he violated a criminal statute, and there's other evidence that does not support a criminal charge. So basically, he's saying like they have to prove that he did something, like that he broke some kind of law, and they're having a hard time doing that, I think.
Isn't killing someone murder?
I agree. I agree with you.
Isn't that a criminal activity? Murder?
I honestly can't. I don't know, man. It's fucked up.
Oof. I don't know. That's
Do you ever feel like, as an Asian person, you've had it like had, or as an Asian person, you've ever dealt with like overt racism?
overt, as in like excessive racism, or
Yeah, or just any
um,
racism maybe?
yes.
Because I feel like we typically feel, or like as an Asian person, we typically get like kind of the microaggressions. You know,
Yeah.
I never got like go back to your country. I never got like pulled over just because I'm Asian.
Hmm.
I don't know any
I got
Asian
in
that
some
got
more.
like shot in the streets for walking down the street, you know?
Right. We don't. I've never had that.
But we get
I
like the
I
small
get more
stuff.
so like, yeah, I get more so like oh, you speak English really well. Like, yeah, I know.
I was
I do.
I was born in South Philly. Where are you from?
Yeah, exactly.
And we get stuff like, "Oh, where are you from?" Like
Yeah.
here, literally. And we get like, um, yeah, it's all this like insidious stuff that doesn't like people don't think is racist, but it is.
So I like chalk it up to them as not educated
Just
on the
ignorant.
fact. Yeah. And it's not I don't take it as much as racism if they're not really aggressive towards me. I just feel like they're just not as educated, so I find it as opportunity to educate them on the fact. Like,
I mean, that's good, but it is still racism, you know? Even
yeah,
if they're not
it is.
being intentionally malicious, it's still like the fact that it's ingrained into their ideas or like culture or beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a symptom, you know, of a
Mm-hmm.
larger problem, which is racism.
Mm,
So just because they're like, so you like, you don't have to be angry at them because
mm-hmm.
just because they're ignorant, but you can be like, but it is racist, and you can't be like
As
mad
in
at.
like separating each other as from our races. more so like it just acknowledging that someone else is a different race,
No, I'm just
or
saying like just because they're not being, oh, like if they say something racist, it's racism, you know?
mm-hmm.
Just like all the examples we've been talking about. Like when someone says like, "Oh, um, you speak really good English," and you're like, "Yeah."
Okay, yeah, that's
They're being
oh,
racist. They're not
mm-hmm.
a racist, but they're saying racist things. And you're like, "All right, I'm not going to like get angry, but
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying, at that point you take the opportunity to educate them. You say, "Look, you can't say that sort of thing." Like you're assuming that I can't speak English just from the way that I look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was born in
That's
South
true.
Philly. I grew up in the ghettos in North Philly.
The hood, the
Yeah.
hoods of North Philly. That's true. But that's a good look on racism because I've also been called like Ching and Jackie Chan. I'm like,
Okay, chink
why?
that's being racist.
Is yeah,
That's a
that's definitely racist right
yeah,
there.
that's just
And
a
someone else and calling me Jackie Chan too, like, come on. Like to as another person
that's low hanging
of
fruit.
a
You can do better than that. If you're
at
gonna be
least
a
be clever
racist, at
with it.
least try harder.
Yeah, throw like a stereotype joke in there, you know? Like be more like Dave Chappelle. Like if you're gonna be racist, at least put a good joke to it. Like a very good joke out of it. Um I don't know. It's crazy.
Because
This world that
I
we
don't
live
consider
in.
myself like an activist. I don't consider myself super social justice warrior.
Oh.
But the bare minimum is just treating like other people with respect and
That's true.
like
Yeah.
trying to educate yourself so you're not ignorant. That's a bare minimum.
Be part of the solution, not the problem.
And like, I mean, I've been guilty of being like ignorant and being like racist sometimes. But then when someone calls me out on it, I don't get defensive, or I try not to. It's hard not to, but you try to take a step back and say like, "Oh shit, like that really bothers you," and then me reevaluate, maybe like look up some stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
And learn from it.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
bare minimum.
Take what you can from it. I guess like when you make it, sometimes people make mistakes without even realizing, you know,
Yeah,
and then you just have to
but then you just
let them
like
know.
let you have to let them know. You have to
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, look, that really made me uncomfortable. And then they can, if they're a good person or like a at least a respectful person, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, let me tell me why that's wrong, and then like I'll try
As
to
long as
never
they're
do
willing
that
to
again.
understand. Yeah.
Like for example, like the N word,
Mm-hmm.
we throw that we threw that around a lot until you have to just like take a step back and have just like, all right, that's not ours. You know,
Yeah.
we
I
gotta
feel like we have to
stop.
like reevaluate on like because I feel like when we first started like saying it, I guess we thought it would be okay because we meant it in terms of endearment to each other,
Still,
not as in like, but yeah, but
yeah,
still, but we didn't know though, you
yeah,
know, until we learned about it. Like, oh shit, it's like it's not right to say it.
yeah.
Because at the time, I feel like yeah, we just thought it was something
Because
maybe just
we didn't mean it uh
derogatory
in a
way.
derogatory way. So personally, I've like I rarely ever used it, but I still
Hmm.
did, you know, sometimes. But even then, I was like, afterwards, I was looking back on it now, and on like the few times that I did use, it, I was like, cringe, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's I had to I had to stop I used it for a while too, and I was like, it's not. I had to reevaluate myself, and I don't try to condemn other people who you try to use it, even though I should. But I feel
I've
like
started doing that.
for myself at least, I stopped. I'm like, I can't.
You
But
should you
I
should
feel
tell
like
people to
we should.
stop.
Yeah,
Just call people
I
out on it.
know. It's much more important today to definitely stop using it because it's not ours to use. I don't know.
It's not ours.
Yeah, dude, it just this is not right. That word should never existed in the first place. That's the thing. It should never existed. And I feel like if you start saying the word, then you're just acknowledging that the word is there, and then it kind of will bring up bad vibes, kind of thing. You know.
It's like we were just talking about. Even if you don't mean it in a racist way, you're not trying to be racist.
Mhm.
It is racist when we say it.
Mhm.
And that's just like, and that's not because of any reason, anything that we're doing. It's just the context. The word itself has too much history, too much
Meaning
weight.
behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not ours. So that's why, like, when people sing songs with the word in it, and they just like, oh, it's a lyric. I'm just saying what the song is saying. And I'm like, I get it. It's part of the song, but you can't say it.
Mm. You can't.
Just replace it with like brother or something, you know?
Yeah. Or bitch. You know, doesn't like something else.
Ninja,
My
brother.
ninjas,
Like the song
my
has it. Just replace that.
brothers.
Just replace every instance of the N word with brother. It's the same.
Hmm.
And you're not a racist. You know? Win-win.
What a life we live in. It's America's going to shithole, dude.
America is the butthole of the world.
It is. It like these past 4 years has been a fucking nightmare. I feel like the shit that has happened should not has happened so far.
It's because of who our president is, and then all the people who have similar ideas and values as him feel empowered. They're like, "Oh, if the president is saying this shit, we can come out of
Yeah,
hiding." And all the fucking racists and bigots coming out of the woodwork. They've been hiding this
it's
whole
fucking
time, and they're like,
yeah, and they're finally thriving now because they have a leader that represents them. That's the fucking president of the United States. You know, a world class leader, which is nuts. And I'm appalled to I hate people that think so one dimensionally and aren't willing to like progress to a better utopia kind of lifestyle, you know, a more peaceful life where everyone's included kind of thing.
what really surprises me is when it's like young people. You see like
Yeah,
young Trump supporters, young racists, and I'm like, really?
I feel like that's definitely like a parenting thing.
For sure, but it's just like you're living in the modern day, you know? There's so many people like do you think it's just like an exposure thing? They haven't met that many different kind of people, or they just like
Yeah. I think that's part of the problem too because I feel like a lot of the kid like I guess Trump supporters are very not as yeah, like you said, not exposed to different cultures. They're only surrounded by people that are very similar to their own ways of life. And when they're introduced with someone who's different, I think they get taken aback by it or maybe even fear it a little bit. Or they don't understand it too much. And some people don't like there are people out there who don't like what they understand and will do everything in their power, I guess, to not make it that way, make it a lifestyle they don't understand,
Right.
or just easiest thing that they do or quickest thing they can do is hate. They just resort to hitting it, I guess. And when they see their president or their parents slash peers or family exerting a behavior, they're most likely gonna take in that behavior too and replicate it. I don't know, man. It's just nuts. And I feel like there's some parts of the world just all like really white dominant predominant, and they don't have many like much culture around there. I think you see that much more in like in rural areas.
Oh, you find
Like
like because the communities are smaller and more
yeah.
similar, and the ideas are all like it's kind of like a circle jerk, you know.
Hmm.
No one to disagree with them.
Yeah. However, I correct myself because I did just see a picture of like Amish folk holding up like George Floyd signs, like protesting, like George, like justice for George Floyd, and like from an Amish people, that's pretty impressive, because like they understand that's it's kind of wild too.
Because that is a race issue, but also just like a human issue, you
Just
know? Because
yeah,
he
human
was
rights kind of thing.
begging for his life, face down, and he just left his knee on that guy's throat. Like,
Hmm.
if you take out the the race, that's already a monstrous, horrible, horrendous thing to do,
Hmm.
and then you add in the fact that it's a police officer on a black man, then it's like
Even worse.
this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
This is the worst case scenario that like
Because it's worse because it's always happening all the time,
yeah,
too often, too much, you know?
like when's enough? Enough is enough. And it's like it's also a problem that has been going on in the police districts of all like the cities too. Cause now the people are saying the argument that not all cops are bad cops is now like finally over. Like that argument is done for, because now it's all cops are bad cops now, because even the good cops aren't doing anything about the bad cops. They're not stepping in to say, "Hey, get your knee off of that guy's neck." Like, they're not. The good cops aren't like reprimanding the bad cops or re-educating them or telling them stop. Like that's not how you do a job. We're supposed to be protecting the people, like our community. We're not supposed to be killing them or hurting them, killing them. So now all the good cops, like they're apparently there's like a blue wall code of silence or something, where you don't like. It's kind of like everyone is a brotherhood kind of thing, even the good or bad cops. Like there's a I don't know, like a code of silence or some shit they call it, where you don't like snitch on a brother policeman or something like that. Which I think is a horrible idea, because it doesn't hold anyone accountable for their actions, and then the bad cops get away with like doing all this stupid shit. That makes our world even more hellish.
Yeah. It's not a rotten apple situation.
Yeah,
It's a rotten basket.
yeah.
It holds all these apples.
Like we obviously the problem still lingers. So that argument's out the window. And I was on like a not subreddit, Ask Reddit. I think I was asking like cops from other from other cities. What do you think about the whole situation about like the George Floyd thing? And then I've read that other people like I think that like that officer should definitely be arrested and sent to jail for murder, because we were never trained to do ever in our training
Do you
just to
know
never
what
put
the
a
other
knee.
cops there said? because I didn't read about what the other three cops standing there did
I did not read it. No.
here because
Because what?
because like did they say anything? Were they like, hey man, can you like he's down, like you don't need to you don't need to kneel on his throat
Mm-mm.
anymore?
I don't think so. No.
Did anyone
Not that I
say
know of.
anything?
Because everyone else is asking for all four of those cops to be arrested because the three of them didn't do anything about it. So that's like an accomplice to murder kind of thing, you know. And then
It's,
you had the president tweeting some fucking bullshit. Okay, go ahead.
you know what's crazy is that like the cop that Derek Chauvin, the cop that was kneeling on George Floyd's throat. That's
Mm-hmm.
not the first time he like did something like this. There's
There's
like
not
there's like 20 complaints about that guy throughout his career, and
holy
not
shit
once was he ever charged or
reprimanded for it.
prosecuted or anything. He was still walking the streets, arresting people, terrorizing people, murdering. Who knows? That guy's a monster.
Holy shit. You just think that he must be riding on a power trip or something.
They all are.
He's fuck, dude. Oh my god. Oh, there's something else I wanted to talk about. So just recently, I'm not sure if you heard, but one of the on the news before George Floyd, but one of the members of Terrace House committed suicide.
Uh, which one?
It was Hana Kimura.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, she was the housemate that was a professional wrestler with pink hair.
Yeah, dude. Was there? What was the reason? What led up to it?
I think there was a bunch of reasons I think that led up to it, but I think the most biggest one that everyone that's been floating around has been like her being cyberbullied and getting constant death threats by Terrace House fans because they're like calling for her to leave the show.
But,
they don't want to see
but
her
why?
on this.
What was wrong? Like,
Because
why did they not like her?
there wasn't. I think there was an incident where, she was in an argument with another house member because, the one house member is kind of like, he was more so like very lazy. He's kind of like I guess in a way like a deadbeat, a kind of guy where he doesn't really he doesn't do much to take care of himself, and when it takes time for him to rise to an opportunity, he kind of makes excuses for himself to not do things, and he doesn't like blame himself for he doesn't see himself doing wrong kind of thing when he doesn't do it. And what happened in this situation that really ignited, kind of broke the camel's back, straw that camel broke the camel's back. He threw his laundry into her laundry, so she washed her clothes and she forgot to take it out of the laundry because she had to go out for a trip. When she came back, she found her clothes in the dryer. Turns out that he put his clothes in her with her laundry, and then he put both of their laundries into the dryer and dried the both clothes. And then in her laundry had her costumes that she had for her wrestling, and these are costumes that are like custom made just for her, and it cost her over $2,000 per each costume, and she has like three of them in there. And these are like perfect size and everything to her, and like one of a kind. Like there's nothing else on the market because like it's custom to her character, for her wrestling character. And he threw in the dryer. They're all shrunk and they don't fit her anymore, and they're completely ruined. The color's all washed off and everything.
Right.
Oh,
And
not
so she got really mad.
Yeah, so she got really upset. Like, she's like, I don't have anything to wear to my, these are my wrestler uniforms, and these are one of a kind. I don't have anything to wear. Like, I don't understand. It kind of like they, that was like the tipping over point, because there was other stuff in the house that everyone in the house saw that he doesn't do. He doesn't really show much gratification. He doesn't help pay for anything. He doesn't help out around the house, like cleaning the house and doing dishes, drawers, and all that,
Who is this
like
guy?
chores. His name is Kai.
Why did he come on the show? It's just like for clout.
There. That's a good question. I think he wanted to explore himself more. That's what his reason was. Is to understand and try to propel himself into comedy
Hmm.
because he was practicing to be a stand-up comedian.
I think I saw one episode. His stand-up sucked.
It was really bad. It was so bad. He he blew it. He just kind of made fun of Japanese workmen.
But it wasn't even funny.
It wasn't. He just and no one laughed. It was like very dark. And then everyone, when he came back to the house, everyone was like, I kind of found your stand up offensive only because like you just made fun of a certain demographic, and then but like you're not even part of that demographic. Oh, so it's kind of more so like insult and more so like comedy.
I
You
feel like
just
okay, so you can make fun of people in comedy, but there has to be a point. You know, there has to be like
yeah.
a punchline. If you just
Hmm.
make fun of someone or make fun of a group, maybe and there's no joke and there's no point, then it's not funny. It's just you're just talking shit.
Yeah. It was really hard to watch. It was very cringe. And so they gave him like they were trying to give him inspiration, like, hey, maybe you should draw something, like draw jokes from something that you've experienced before, something that you've experienced and can relate to, and then you tell it as a joke, and then people will understand where you're coming from and what you've done, what you've been through. Make something like make a bad situation to a funny situation, kind of thing. But yeah, that was his the reason why he came is because I think he wanted to explore himself better. I can't talk right now, and to up his just get his stand up known, comedy stand up known, his name out there.
So then after she yelled at him, she got like death threats and stuff and cyberbullied.
I think she's been getting death threats for a while, but I think that's what also like pretty much was getting cyberbullied. She was getting told to get off the show. Like
What?
they wanted a new member to come on. That's why.
Why would they support? Why were they defending this guy? This guy sounds like a shithead.
Yeah. He does. I think just people are just bored of some characters. People want change. That's the thing. And people are just out there because just to send death threats to celebrities just because they don't like them.
So it really
And
got
it's
so
just
like really got to her.
yeah. I think it's hard waking up every day when you get cyberbullied, like telling that you're not wanted on the show. They don't want to see you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to read all that like hate mail, but I'm sure she has fans though. It's just that it's that like 1% that just like
Mm-hmm.
tortures you, that just trolls the shit out of you. And it's not just like it's pretty well known too for any celebrity. It's not just her. Like that was like a symptom of the problem, kind of thing. Like it's been going on for a long time. Like David So has talked about how like he gets trolls and that tell him like you fucking suck, like you should go die, get death threats and everything.
But then what about? Was it just like a tipping point for her? Like something just snapped for
I
her?
I think for her to like
Commit suicide?
snap at it. I'll commit suicide. I think I watched one of the later episodes and it turned out like she had lost her job because of the corona. Or she's getting paid minimum wage because no one's gonna come to her wrestling shows anymore because of the corona.
Mm-hmm.
So she basically said like she's jobless, she's not doing anything. And I read that even the crew members, the Terrace House members, had to quarantine away from each other. So she was very isolated in the house or wherever she was, and to not be working at the same time. And on top of that, the cyberbullying is
Yeah.
kind of propelled her to.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, that would take. I don't think anyone can handle that. To be honest, it's a lot. But yeah, and it's nuts. And they recently, a couple of days ago, they just announced that they're canceling production for Terrace House.
Like forever? Just like the show's canceled?
For this, I don't know if it's forever or this season,
Okay.
but definitely for this season so far. It's like this season's over. No more. They cancel production. And which I think it's a good idea
For
because
sure.
you definitely, it's out of respect for her and just her families. It's hard to have, it's not hard, but it shouldn't continue a show where someone just committed suicide because of it. you know
Yeah.
So that really sucks. And like cyberbullying is fucking nuts too, dude. Imagine getting hate. You go like hate notifications on
Daily?
your phone daily, dude.
Yeah.
Daily.
That's why that was part of the reason why I was like, I don't want this to get big.
Yeah, me neither. I don't want. That's why I don't want that. I don't want people to know me, in a way. But like, I don't mind people knowing me. I just don't want them. Like, I'm not actively trying to get them to know me.
I just don't want like haters.
Mm-hmm. That's why I gotta keep it small. When people tell me what I've been doing lately, I don't ever tell them I'm podcasting and vlogging because I don't want them to know.
I never tell anyone, but somehow people keep finding out. I think people who listen like talk about it.
Yeah. One of my brother's friends was like, "Hey, Tin, I heard you making a podcast." I was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like my friends were like, oh, like what is your podcast called? I'm like, how the fuck do you know about that?
Yeah. How'd you get this? How'd you find out about that?
Who are you?
Exactly. It's like a word of mouth, dude. And it's scary. I was like, we don't know. We definitely don't know who's listening now
When we
because
put it
people
public.
have heard about it. Yeah. Especially when we put it public.
A lot of heavy topics today,
It was very,
but I
very
feel like
heavy.
it's definitely something we should talk about, or like
Mhm.
people should think about. You know,
Mhm. You can't ignore it.
Yeah, you can't ignore it. All right, let's wrap this thing up. So, at the end of every episode, we do a segment called "What's Up with You," where we just talk about some kind of cool thing that we've been up to, or like new show, new video, new music, anything. What's up with you, Tin?
Honestly, I feel like a lot has been up, but like I don't know what. I can't pick one thing. Like show wise, entertainment wise, I've been playing a lot more Call of Duty Warzone, and that's been really cool because it's cross platform. So I'm playing this game with a lot of people that I never really thought to play with before. Like I'm playing with my brother and his friends because they all play console games. But now since it's cross platform, it's actually pretty cool because I can now play with them. And I'm playing with my friend in California. This Jack, one of my personal, one of my Magic friends from high school. I was playing three of them, Kevin, Jack, and Bill and they're all on the West Coast. They're in Hawaii, California, but it's kind of cool because it always takes is one game with cross-platform play to bring us back together again and just have fun.
I think I saw some of your clips, your highlight clips, with
Yeah.
Kevin and some of your other friends.
Yeah, you saw that?
Funny as hell.
That's a normal. That's how we usually act like in high school. It was just dumb as shit, doing dumb stuff. I'm glad you watched it. Thanks for listening. I have more clips. I'm trying to like put them all together too.
Just Tin TV stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. And as for show wise, I've been trying to keep up with Terrace House, and the new season of The Flash came out on the latest season of The Flash came out on Netflix, so I'm trying to watch that now too. But other than that, yeah, I've been doing some home improvements, but you won't see that until the vlog or some room improvements.
The only way you can have access to that video is if you sign up for our Patreon.
That's
Patreon.com
true.
slash, is it slash OKCast? Actually, I don't know. I don't think
Yeah,
we
I think
have.
it's slash OCODcast.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, but I definitely leave it in the links in the descriptions of the YouTube videos. So check it out, guys. Don't be shy. All right. So what you been up to?
I caught up in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah,
Oh,
all 7 seasons, caught up in it.
oh, nice, dude.
Dude,
There was one episode I loved. Ah, go
it's
ahead.
actually like one of my favorite shows now.
Yeah, dude.
It's great.
They're like their humor is so like tip top good. You know, it's like I don't know what kind of humor would you say that is? Like sarcastic humor.
I don't know, but my favorite scenes is when uh Raymond Holt is talking to uh Madeline Wunsch. Anytime he
Yeah,
talks to her, is so funny.
the insults, the clever insult that he brings up.
Yeah.
How was your lunch? Lunch.
It's like, why? So you can get revenge on Dorothy for killing your sister? So funny.
It's so funny how skeptical he is of her. It's like it's next level. Even like to a normal person, like that like skepticism is like sociopath, but he's right every time.
Yeah, so I caught up in that, and then I started watching. There's a show on Hulu called What We Do in the Shadows. It's like kind of like a
Mm.
mockumentary style sort of thing, but it's like The Office, but it's
Right, right, right.
about vampires.
I've seen the movie.
It's
Fucking
very
hilarious.
weird and very funny.
It's a good show. I mean, it's a good movie. I watched the movie. I think I watched one episode of the show, which is also pretty good. I just couldn't get into it though. I don't like. I just don't like that time period.
No, it's in modern day.
Oh, is
The
it?
show, yeah,
Oh shit.
and it's just about like how vampires survive in modern day. It's really funny, really weird.
Oh, weren't they like trying to recruit people for familiars or something?
In the movie,
Or in the show?
uh, I'm not. I don't remember that episode,
Okay.
but it's like it's so goofy.
It's like you're putting like a horror into a comedy, and like making them more personable too, because they're so goofy because like they're not like not always trying to be scary. They're like they have their own like goofy wits about them or behavior, quirky behaviors about them. So they're easy to relate to instead of just vampires just like killing people and mauling, sucking the blood.
All right, T. That was a pretty good episode.
It's a discussion,
Yeah, for sure.
definitely a learning discussion.
All right. Thanks for listening. Um, follow us on social if you want to. Subscribe to our Patreon if you want
Mm.
to. It'd be a great help, you know. We're just trying to build this, get better equipment and stuff.
Better this channel, grow it, get new designs, art, music, and a little bit of money help will go a long way for us. So, thank you for those who also signed up already too.
Do we have any shout outs that we're missing?
Yes, Victoria Lamb.
Shout out to
Vicky,
Victoria. Thank you
shout
for
out to Victoria.
thank you for your support.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks